This is Megawatt's Mega Chat for the week of the 3rd of June. And today's theme is creativity as your superpower in your future. And I'm really, really excited to talk to you about this because it's something that has played such a core role in my thinking about my personal career and my own journey. And it is a key theme with anyone who I coach and I work with. And what this looks like on a collective level is lots and lots of creative, bright, dynamic, talented, multi-passionate individuals working in siloed groups in functions like marketing, PR, comms, content, influencer, strategy, events, those kind of bolt-ons to the company's core function, or so they're perceived and seen, when we all know that's not really the case. Wink, wink. But that's always how it's been in our generation of millennials in terms of, we're kind of like put through the school system, bright enough to do well, and then had these like amazing passions and skills, like being able to draw really well, or to write, or to act, sing, put on plays, like all that really juicy stuff that we as creative people did when we were teenagers and younger. Um, and then when we came to like choosing our career paths, it was like that's a bit of an inconvenient sideline that our parents kind of wish we weren't into. Does that resonate at all? I mean, maybe you had brilliant parents who just really believed in you and wanted you to go after your thing, but for a lot of us, there was this big, like, it's unsafe to go into a creative career. And if you had an arty child, then you wanted to try your best to get them to get those good results and pick something broad enough that it wouldn't, like, they wouldn't end up doing, God forbid, an art foundation, because where could you go with something like that? Goodness me. Uh, I am telling my personal story here because actually, and this is a real one-off. No one usually gets to see this, but I found my old scrapbooks from when I was between the ages of like 12 and 15. I carry them with me every place I live and don't know why I can't let go of them, don't know what to do with them. They're just, one of those things that you just have and you are in your life and they'll always be with you. But yeah, so this is what I used to do when I was a teenager, those early teen years before anything else took over. Bloody hell, still falling out. What's that? Um, Sketching, designs, clothes. It's very inspired by the sort of home and away hippie look, as you might remember if you're also a fan of Home and Away. And that was just my thing. And I loved it. And, I used to collect like all kinds of, do you remember like pictures from magazines and like, when that was like your main way of like digesting and absorbing content before the internet came along and bombarded us with a million images. So, I speak as a creative person myself who was I feel discouraged from going down any route other than something that would put me in an office at the end of my academic endeavor. And you might think, oh, well, she should have just got on with it and done whatever she wanted. But it wasn't the stories and the messages that I was getting at the time. And I wasn't really strong enough and worldly enough to look around and go, I'm going to make my own opinions about this. And I found myself in a pool of other similar creatives who were all kind of killed off a dream in their own way to be in this generic like Bachelor of Arts discipline. And so what happened then is you get this whole pool of people who are creative, interesting, really good with ideas, really good at analysis of context and nuance and subtleties and reading books, reading people, empaths, who are then looking for these corporate careers because that's where we felt that we could actually learned to feed ourselves and buy houses. Some of us managed that, some of us didn't, but that's another story. Thank you, housing market. So, yeah, so what I'm trying to say in relation to you is that you may be one of us who have been kind of brainwashed to believe that your creativity, your imagination, your ability to visualize and to daydream and to go to that place of storytelling and, yeah, your whole imaginative skill set is of little to no value to the corporate world. And when you hear it like that, it hits home. And it has some value because there's like this little box you can put it in that's called creative advertising campaign briefs or, PR events or whatever area you want to look at. But that's the only place it's allowed to play. And all the top decisions are going to be made by people who don't necessarily think in that way, and who are numbers people. Does that resonate? It's a bit of a scary way of doing things, isn't it? Like the balance is just totally out of kilter when you're not involving those creative, sensitive, interesting minds at the very top level, because there's this whole glass ceiling of a marketing career for almost everyone, and that's if they even want to go and take it to a top level. A lot of marketing comms people are kind of just sitting at that middle level. So what what does this mean? What I'm trying to say is that even though the world of work and your academia, your education background, your parents, society has probably told you creative ideas are only for the few, they're only for the special and the gifted, and you're one of many who just needs to get on with things, get your head down and put your imagination aside, and you can just fuel it on whatever Netflix drama is coming up next. And maybe you're like me and you've got like buried sketchbooks or unfinished novels or whatever it is as well going on in the background that just every time you look at them your heart sinks a bit. Like I'm looking over there because that's where my art cupboard is. It's like I still don't feel like my time merits doing art, even though that's what I always love to do. Like how messed up is that, right? um so yeah, but now there's a whole new scenario in the picture, which is all about, well, what is the future of your life and your lifestyle, given that things have changed so much in the world of work and technology, and they're about to change even more at an incredibly rapid rate. And they're now, the headlines are bloodbath of white collar workers and all this juicy stuff. So it's time to tune right back in to your creative origins as a human who was born with these amazing abilities to use your imagination to dream things up, because that is not worthless. That is not a waste of your time. Okay? I really want that to hit home. You've been told it is, you may believe it is, but if there's one part of you that you can get to know again that can really help you through all of this, it's that playful, imaginative, optimistic, visionary side of you that was probably in operation up to early teenage years, maybe late teenage years, whenever it got squashed. Okay, so where does that leave you? It probably leaves you thinking, well, that's all well and good, but I'm kind of mid-level in my work. I feel like my job's fairly secure, or, I've got some decent freelance stuff going on. So do I need to do this? And the answer is yes, you do. Got my pointy finger out for you. And do it sooner the better. So what is it that I'm asking you to do? Ask yourself some really core questions about what you feel is important to you in your life, and what's going to matter to you over the next few years, and how you can amplify living in that way. So, who are you becoming, and is that exciting to you? And be really hand on heart honest about it, because if it isn't, there's things you can do about it right now to start to navigate towards a future that is exciting. What do you see when you imagine yourself in your happiest state? What does that look like? You might get flashbacks to those times with your sketchbook at school. And, we're not talking about a big retrain and a art foundation, digging out and dusting off your portfolio. Maybe it is too late for that. That's okay as well. But what we are talking about is themes and core areas that have consistently remained a passion of yours, because you'll find ways to adapt all the amazing stuff that you've done already in your working life, because you have been creative and you have used your skills and you have put a whole load of foundational stuff down on the ground, to then redirect your thinking about what's going to keep you happy and passionate. Where are you right now, and who are you with? Who are you surrounded with? Is this the right crew for you? It's great if it is, and it's okay if it isn't. It just means some honesty and some gradual change. And these are even bigger questions. I'll be surprised if you can answer them on your own, but definitely give them some thought. What are you here to do? What are you here to do? When can you remember doing it in your life previously? And what do you see when you imagine doing it in the future? And finally, what's going to help you on this path of inspiration and creative thinking and flow and positive energy? Because that's the state of mind it takes to welcome in a successful future in 2025. You're not going to do it from a place of fear and wondering if you're just another cog in the wheel. Like, yes, major disruption is coming, but you still get to be you. And you still get to use this amazing creative side to kind of be a part of collectively making sure the world is somewhere we all want to live. And I get it if you feel overwhelmed by this exploration and these challenges to you. But it's better to feel overwhelmed now and start to do something about it day by day than to leave it till you have no choice, when things have already been decided for you by how the AI is being used in your business and what options are available to you. Sorry, my screen went weird then. Side eyes. So don't doubt your creative powers. This is something that I do a lot with my coaching clients, is active visualizations. So we go to a place where they're in a meditative state and they're imagining themselves in a future that feels exciting and passionate and amazing for them, and they see it. Because when you see things like that that come directly from your subconscious and in an almost like dreamlike state, it just wakes you up to how many possibilities are available to you as a trained, qualified, educated, intelligent person from a first world country who is not about to just lie down and roll over because some new technologies come into the world. This AI era is actually about how we can live a better life, whatever that means to you. And it won't just be money guided. And it won't necessarily mean you have to leave your role either, or your current employer. This might actually be about how you become more entrepreneurial within that business and help them to think about where their collective contribution and where their funds are going to come from over the next few years, as different parts of that business starts to be done in different ways. And if we as creative people can get stronger and more confident in our views, because we're often right, we're not often listened to, but we're often right about where things are heading because we have that imaginative ability, and a lot of us are quite visionary. If we can start to be heard more, then there's going to be some really interesting senior opportunities and roles coming out as well for those who are brave enough to be vocal, to not hide from the numbers, to not hide from the numbers people, and to actively engage in the strategy of what the future of this company looks like in this new era, and start to pitch yourself as having the dream role that you want in that. Because if your boss can see that there's money in it for them and for the business, then of course they're going to say yes. If you get this new, you dream up this new job title for yourself and put yourself in charge of this section or this new idea, of course they're going to want you to do it if you've explained it to them in a way that makes sense. So, yeah, really, really do start digging into this deep work. And if you want any support with it, I'm actually this month until the end of June 2025 offering £99 career transition sessions. So we go into really personal, individual approach to what's going to be best for you and your future career with all the change that's happening. You know, is it going to be a mix of like side hustles and part-time employment and community-based stuff, or is it going to be you like fully asserting yourself on that entrepreneurial path within the industry and specialism that you love? Or maybe you're not sure yet, maybe you're just going to try and get to the end of 2025. So making sure you use 2025 to the best of your ability to create the platform for next year that is making sure you enjoy the next few months and are taking it somewhere that means something to you. Because what's the point if none of it means anything to you? Why are you giving all your hours to a company, you know? Anyway, just a few light-hearted thoughts for the day. Let's finish on a card. So I got these. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Gabby Bernstein at all. She's one of my favorites. She's like a big American motivational spiritual speaker, but these are her super attractor cards. She's got some great books. The Universe Has Your Back, Super Attractor, Happy Days. So yeah, dig into one of those if you want a little bit of an uplift. And I guarantee reading something like that will give you some clarity and reframes around some of this heavier stuff that we're dealing with right now about economy and future of work and all that kind of thing. So, ooh, when I'm connected to spirit, I feel a sense of certainty, magnitude, and ease that I've never known before. That's the card. So, whatever that means to you, whether that's connecting to your soul, your creative spirit, you know, some kind of universal force, just collectively believing you're part of something, this is what it's all about. When I'm connected to spirit, I feel a sense of certainty, magnitude, and ease that I've never known before. And how appropriate is that, given that we've been talking about how disconnected creative people have been led to feel about ourselves and our worth. I'll leave it there. Have a great rest of the day. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like, share it with your mates, and I'll be back soon with more.